Welcome, everybody. My name is Brandon Evans, and I'm the Director of Employers Training Resource, the county's Chief Workforce Development Officer, but you can just call me the Jobs Guy. And for today, we have a very special guest for the next episode of Job Talk, and that's Alissa Reed. And Alissa is the Secretary for the Kern, Inyo, and Mono Building and Construction Trades Council. Alissa, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, when we talk Job Talk, we want to talk all the things related to jobs. How do people get jobs right out of high school? How do people transition from maybe a career that they're disgruntled about into something that's going to be more rewarding? And we know when we're talking jobs, especially with the trades, you're the right person to talk to. But before we get into all that, can you just kind of bring us up to speed? Who is Alissa? How did you get to where you are? All that.
Well, it took a little bit of a varied path. I didn't come up in the trades as most people in the trades do, but I was recruited out of industry. So I was a human resources executive in the oil and gas industry and was recruited to come to the trades and further their workforce development efforts and advocate on behalf of the trades, which this is like the best job I've ever had. I never feel like I'm doing work. People ask me about like retiring or stuff like that, and I'm like, well, only if I could keep doing what I'm doing. Can I retire and keep doing what I'm doing? But yeah, so it's really the workforce development efforts of the trades that attracted me to the trades. Because that's what I've done my whole career through human resources. So.
Great. So what does a typical day or week or month look like for you? What are you doing all the time?
What am I doing?
Yes.
I'm just looking for opportunities to share information about the trades, to meet with people and connect with other organizations that do community outreach, to get the word out about the trades. One of the things that we recognize in the trades is that historically, most people coming into the trades either had a relative or a close friend that shared that information with them. And so, when you look at the population, that leaves out a huge segment of the population. And so my goal is to get the word out, share information about the trades, share the career opportunity that exists for everybody, educate people on apprenticeships and what they are, and connect them with a career path.
So let's just knock that out right away.
Okay.
If I don't know, if I'm interested in the trades, where do I start? How do I get connected?
So there's a bunch of different pathways in. There's a bunch of entry points that you can go to. If you're someone that is set, I know exactly what craft I want to do, then I would say go directly to that union and try to get into that apprenticeship program. If you're someone who may not know exactly which craft you want to go to, or you may not be, even if you know, but you go to the apprenticeship program and you're like, ooh, I don't have that, or I don't have this, and so you're not quite ready. We have, out of our Building Trades Council, we run an multi-craft core curriculum program, and basically that is a pre-apprenticeship designed to introduce people to apprenticeships and introduce them to the different crafts and apprenticeships that are available, and also do some prep work along the way to get them ready to enter an apprenticeship. So you can come in direct into an apprenticeship, or you can come in through the MC3 program and get a kind of an overview picture and get connected with the trades that way. Yeah, there is one other pathway that I would like to talk about too, is for folks that have experience, because there's a significant segment of the construction industry that is non-union, or they may be working in an adjacent industry like manufacturing or in oil and gas or even ag, and they have transferable skills into a trade. For example, they may be a welder and they've been welding for 20 years. Well, coming in as a day one apprentice may not be the right place for that person. And so, again, I would say you go to that trade. Most of the trades have an avenue in for experienced workers so that they can either be placed higher up and get credit for their education and their experience, so they can get placed further into the apprenticeship, so they don't start as a day one apprentice. Or they can even come in as a journeyman in some instances, depending on their qualifications and what their experience is. So don't think that you have to go back and start over
Right.
if you have all that experience.
Right. So the experienced person who, for whatever reason, is looking for something better, they can start in the middle or at the top, potentially based on testing, being able to prove that their skill is at that level.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, a lot of the trades have a pathway in for those folks that have experience and want to join the trades. Because regardless of where you are in your career, the trades is a place where, the union trades are a place where you find, you find unity, you find connection, but you also find good family-sustaining wage jobs that have benefits, that have retirements, that a lot of jobs don't have today.
Yeah. So let's just stay on that part right there.
Okay.
Just opening the topic to just what are the benefits of union trades? You already started a list. You can expound upon that, add to it. If you were just to have a sales pitch to somebody out there, what's the benefit of doing trades, but specifically with a union?
I would say the training is probably the strongest component. Through the apprenticeship program and all of the other programs within the trades, you have continuing education. You have training available to you frequently at no cost, but you have training available to you to keep your skills current. As we see the changing job market and the changing technology that's coming into the workplace, you have an opportunity to upgrade your skills along the way without any, you got to commit the time and you got to commit some effort to it.
Yes, yeah.
But there's no barriers to getting that training. And so I think that's probably the most important thing that I see from the perspective of the trades is the ability to keep your skills current. The other pieces, obviously, family sustaining wages. You don't have to wonder what am I going to get a raise next year or not? One of the things that unions do is they negotiate your working conditions, they negotiate your wages, they negotiate your benefits for you. And that's a huge benefit for people that a lot of people overlook. A lot of people don't give it the value that it has. Because in most instances, if you look around, who knows what their increase, if they're going to get an increase, and if so, what is it going to be next year?
Right.
The trades do.
Yeah.
So that's built into those contracts. Right. And so the other piece that I would say along with those contracts is you have someone on your side. You have a brotherhood or a sisterhood, or you have people that you're working with that have your best interest at heart, and that's their goal, is to further your working life and to further your career. And so if there's problems on a job site, you have somebody to turn to help you with those problems, whether they're your personal problems, maybe something's going on in your life that, you need help with, or whether it's job-related problems. The trades and all unions help their members with every aspect of their life throughout their career.
Yeah, and one of the things that I keep hearing when I talk to some of our local leaders with the unions is the ability to just move around and that wage be consistent wherever you go. You want to?
Yeah, that's another great thing that I always forget about because I'm not advocating for people to leave the area.
Nor am I.
I'm not saying, get your education, get your career started and then move away. But it is true. You take any of the trades and they're national. And so your membership, your experience in the trades, you can transfer that to any place that you want to go. So any local that you want to go to, and just a local is kind of the local craft that has the jurisdiction over that area. And so you have access to looking at any local anywhere you want to go. I frequently tell the story of a young gentleman that was a friend of our family, got out of high school, knew he wanted to go into the trades. He started his apprenticeship soon after he graduated high school. He finished his apprenticeship, and then he decided, it was his plan, he wanted to travel. And so he basically got with his local and the leadership at his local and started looking around for jobs. And now, gosh, that's been probably, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And he has traveled all over the country. He goes to different jobs. He stays there for the duration of that job. And then he looks around and where do I get to go next? And so that's kind of the way he's traveled the country and gotten to see a lot of places that otherwise he wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. But even beyond that, you don't have to be a traveler that's going to be kind of this nomadic life.
Right.
If you say, hey, my family wants to move to, anywhere, Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Arkansas, wherever you want to go, Washington, wherever you want to go, you connect with the local that's in that area and you transfer your membership, and then that local, hey, here's what the work picture looks like here.
Right.
And you have an opportunity to go to work through that local without no questions.
Yeah, excellent. So this is fantastic. We keep referring to trades. Can you just take a second and let's kind of itemize with regards to the Trades Council and the entities that you're working on behalf of? Who are they? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so there's the AFL-CIO is kind of kind of the big umbrella organization. That's the American Federation of Labor, and underneath that they have a construction department. So I'm kind of giving you the whole organization.
Right. I can see the org chart.
Yeah, you can see the little org chart in your mind. HR side of me coming out. So underneath that, they have a construction department, and the construction department is NABTU. It's NABTU, North America's Building Trades Unions. And then the national trades, the trades nationally, their national presidents are all a member of that board and kind of guide things at a national level. But there are, I want to say 14 trades, 15 trades.
Okay.
My members are represented across the spectrum of construction.
Right.
Obviously, the most well-known that people always talk about, the electricians,
Yeah.
That's IBEW. It stands for International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Then we have the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. We have operating engineers. Operating engineers are heavy equipment operators. And let's see, who else do we have? Painters, plasterers, cement masons, bricklayers, boilermakers, heat and frost installators. I'll screw up the names. Leave it to me.
We will be grading.
Yeah, I know. Gosh. Well, lucky for me, you don't have the list, so you don't know if I leave anybody off. But the heat and frost insulators, elevator constructors. Who else? I know I'm leaving people. The iron workers,
right.
Sheet metal workers. And there's, the laborers, all of those other trades as well.
Yeah. So there's just a wide breadth of opportunities for people. It's not just, you can be more than just an electrician.
Exactly. It's kind of funny when we do our multi-craft core curriculum, we say MC3. So if I say MC3, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Our MC3 apprenticeship readiness, about, I'd say at least half of the people coming in to that program come in saying, I want to be an electrician. I want to be an electrician. And it's so interesting to watch as they go visit, because throughout that program, they'll visit these different trades.
Right.
And sometimes they visit one and they're like, okay, that's it. It's not the electricians, it's that one. Then we have other folks that it's so fun to watch that as they explore, every time they visit a trade, that's the one I want to do. Then they go to the next one. Oh, that's the one I want to do.
It's like being in an ice cream. Every flavor.
Every flavor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but we do. We place, we connect people with apprenticeships across all of those trades. Some trades are not as prevalent in Kern County.
Okay.
Like, for example, like the elevator constructors. We don't see a lot of that work in Kern County.
Right.
And so if you want to do that job, then that's going to be one that you're likely going to have to go to a place where they have an apprenticeship school, they have an apprenticeship program established in that area. So there are some trades that are not like actively present, I guess I would say, in Kern County just because of the work that's here.
Yeah.
But, we're connected with them all and can help people explore all of them.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to give you a chance to chime in on is like IBEW electricians, but they teach welding as a part of the electrical work. And plumbers and pipe fitters train a bunch of welders. So is there any other, and I say that because if somebody's like, well, I want to be a welder, there might be welding opportunities that aren't going to be like at the title level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, as there's a lot of ancillary skills that go with every trade. And I think welding is one of those that you see. You do see that across several trades.
Mm-hmm.
And, fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, it depends for me the day of the week. There's a lot of crossover between the trades. There's a lot of gray area in what we refer to that as their jurisdiction. What work do they have jurisdiction over? And there's a lot of crossover and there's a lot of gray area across jurisdiction of type of work. Sometimes with ancillary skills like that, it's usually kind of, is it in the course of them doing their primary trade?
Understood.
The majority of welding, for welding specifically, the majority of that you will see in plumbers and pipe fitters. You also see a lot of that in sheet metal and ironwork with all the metal trades.
All right, so for anybody out there looking for welding.
Yeah, if you want to be a welder.
Yeah, this is where you go.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so let's talk apprenticeships. Let's talk earn while you learn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to open it up, and you take the ball and run with it. What do you want to say about apprenticeships and that whole process?
The trade apprenticeship model is dated back to, early civilization. It does. It goes back to
cavemen joining the apprentice.
Yeah. Well, the early model of how people learned jobs and how people learned crafts, it goes back to even back to, pyramids and, all of that stuff. But, the primary thing that we look back to for the history of apprenticeships is, civilization, kind of the beginning of an industrial lifestyle. But the way people learned a trade or a craft was they were brought into they went and found somebody. Usually it was a family member. And that's where kind of the family member referring somebody started.
Right.
But usually it was a family member. At that time, they would go and actually live with that person.
Got it.
And that person would commit to training them and teaching them their craft. And they were called an apprentice until they learned and were able to do that craft independently. Then they were a journeyman. And so, the whole apprenticeship model goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. The trades, picked up doing apprenticeships a couple hundred years ago. So again, it's a tried and true model. But it is an earn while you learn model. Basically, the apprenticeship model that you see today is a mix of work on the job education as well as classroom or kind of programmed learning. And all of the trades have a combination of that in their apprenticeship programs today. So it is an earn while you learn model. You are a working apprentice. You're getting paid to be there and learn the job. Depending on the level of apprentice you are, that defines kind of the scope of work that you can do. So you're doing work commensurate with your experience and education throughout your apprenticeship. And, so you finish your apprenticeship. Most apprenticeships are between 3 and 5 years now today. You finish your apprenticeship with no debt. A lot of people talk about, the college path or the 4-year college path and talk about student loans and things like that. Your apprenticeship training, all of the classroom education, all of that is paid for through your work and your employer. So, you finish with no debt. Your wages progressing commensurate to your experience. So most of the apprenticeships start out today at about right around $25 an hour, depending on the trade. Some of them are a little bit higher, and then it will gradually increase throughout your training. As you progress in your apprenticeship and progress in your skills, your wage will increase to a point at the end that you're at a journeyman level wage.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know how far this is spread, but my understanding that you mentioned like a 3 to 5 year window. By year 5, that starting wage has been doubled probably. Am I not making that up? Huh?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's usually about double, because an apprentice usually will start out at about half of what a journeyman makes.
Yeah.
Is usually what you see.
Yeah, and when you just back to the benefits, earn while you learn. You're not asking for student loan debt forgiveness
Yeah,
because you don't have it. You've been making money the entire time.
Yeah, and it gives people an opportunity to start a career that, they're immediately making money and earning a living that they can help support their family.
Right.
And, people always talk about the American dream, wanting to buy a house and wanting to be able to afford things for their kids and things like that. When it comes to the trades, you don't hear that. You don't hear that being a desire for them, because that's readily available to them. That's not something they're struggling to do in the trades, because the wages in the trades are family sustaining wages. The benefits, people don't worry about, how am I going to take care of my kid if they get sick? Because their benefits cover their entire family. They're not going to worry about what they're going to do in retirement or how they're going to make ends meet in retirement, because they have a retirement pension plan that they're vesting into as they work. And so it's, and the other thing I tell people about the trades too, kind of comes to mind, is they can take this career anywhere they want. Some people go, I don't want to work in the trades. Could you imagine being, 50 years old and having to work out in the field every day and, work on a construction site every day? There are people that do that. Right. But if that's not the path for you, that doesn't mean that the trades isn't an option for you. The one thing that I tell folks coming in through our MC3 program is you can take this job anywhere you want it to be. You can take this career anywhere you want it to go. Physically, because you can move anywhere you want to go and have an option. But as far as a career path, because And that's why I said in the beginning, introducing myself, I didn't come up through the trades, but as you look around to the leaders of the trades, all of the people that they deal with in the apprenticeship programs, all of those folks came up through the trades and started exactly where those folks are as a day one apprentice. And so I tell people, you go work out in the field and learn the craft and work there for a few years, and you can take it wherever you want it to go. If you want to be, a foreman or a leader out on the job site,
Right.
that's an option to you. That's available to you.
Right.
You want to teach, go into the
Yeah,
apprenticeship
I was gonna
school,
say,
and you
yeah.
can teach. You want to go into leadership. You want to go into union leadership.
Right.
It's interesting. I was at a meeting just yesterday at the California State Building and Construction Trades Council. And it was the Building Trades Council leaders from throughout the state of California were there. And Chris Hannon is the president of the State Building and Construction Trades. And Chris always says he's a 30-year road sprinkler fitter. So that's a craft that's under the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. They do fire sprinklers. And he said, as a kid starting out in the apprenticeship, I never thought I would be here, leading one of the most powerful state organizations, and the most powerful trade organization in the country.
Right.
And so California really, really leads the way for the trades, and it's a great opportunity, great career opportunity that you can take wherever you want it to go.
Yeah. Excellent. You may work with your brawn when you're younger and with your brain when you're older.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's attainable wherever they want to go. Because like I said, most of the people, even of the leaders of building trades councils throughout the state, I'm one of very, very few that was brought in outside of the trades. Most of those folks come up through the trades as well.
Yeah.
So
So there may be some things you can't say publicly, but what kind of projects are being worked on in terms of union impact locally? What are some of the projects, jobs that are being performed by union labor?
well, typically for the trades, our kind of gold standard is what's referred to as a project labor agreement or a community workforce agreement. Basically, that is a contractual agreement between the project and the trades that they're going to use all union labor on that job. Typically, that's kind of what that entails. And so some of the projects that have committed to work with the trades here locally, we just celebrated the opening of the Hard Rock Tejon
Right.
Casino.
Right.
Octavio Escobedo, the chairman of the Tejon tribe, is a great partner for the trades. That put a lot of members to work for a long time. We're anxiously awaiting the next phase.
Right.
Because the next phase is going to be the hotel tower and all of the other site amenities that they're planning. And so that was a really exciting project to see come to fruition. So we build buildings.
Yeah.
We're currently working with the Dolores Huerta Foundation on building the Peace and Justice Cultural Center that's going in downtown Bakersfield.
All right.
So that's being built with the trades. And then I would turn to some of the industrial partners that we have, some of the industrial work. I never can talk about our partners without mentioning California Resources Corporation, CRC.
Yeah.
CRC in the oil and gas space was the first and remains one of the only oil and gas companies that has a project labor agreement on all of their maintenance work out in the fields, out in the oil and gas fields. And so that has brought a tremendous amount of work to our members. It's kept a lot of people busy for a lot of years. And we're moving right into some of their carbon management work.
Right.
So a lot of energy work, the solar projects.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to hydrogen projects. So a lot of industrial work as well.
Got it.
So we're kind of across the board.
Well, yeah, good. And I appreciate you sharing some of that, because it's, what are the jobs, and then what are the things that you're doing if you're working in that job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a really great conversation. I'm going to start to bring it to a close. First of all, I want to give you a chance. Is there anything related to what you do that you think the public, needs to know about that we haven't covered?
I think I would just say, the trades is a career path. And it doesn't matter where you are in your career. It doesn't matter whether you are, we do a lot of outreach at high schools. So it doesn't matter whether you're getting ready to graduate high school and looking forward to what your career option may be, or whether you're somebody that's later in life that has already had a career and is looking for a change or something different. You can start the trades at any time, any point in time. It's an open career path for you. The other thing I would point out is any background. We deal with a lot of folks that are trying to reestablish their lives.
Right.
Maybe they've had, they've been justice involved or any of down any of those paths. We work with a lot of those folks as well, because the trades is one place where, I will tell you, to get into our MC3 program, the requirements, you have to have a high school diploma or GED.
Okay.
You have to have a valid driver's license, and you have to be over the age of 18. You didn't hear anywhere in that list about whether or not you had any kind of a criminal record, or whether you've had any kind of injustice involvement. And so that's one thing, a lot of people shy away from a career path or any kind of career training, because if they've had a background like that, because they're like, oh, I'm not going to get hired. I'll go through that training, but then I'm not going to get the job because they're going to require a background check, or they're going to require this or that. The trades, we're looking for people that want to work, show up every day,
Even
Step
in the
one,
fog.
show up. Yeah, even in the fog, still got to show up. People that show up, people that want to work hard, people that want to show up for their families and work for their livelihood, and that's the expectation in the trades. And so, if nothing else, I would say walk away from watching this talk with, hey, if I know anybody that's interested in any kind of a construction trades career,
Right.
and like I said, it's varied. It can be an industrial setting, it can be in a building setting, it can be anywhere.
Right.
Know that the trades are a place where you can start.
Yeah. So how would they get a hold of you? What's
So
the
the
contact?
connection,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
connection.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, for our MC3 program, we run an informational session every month. So it is on the second Thursday of every month. It is at 3:00, and it is held at the UA Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local 460 Labor Hall, which is located at, let me think, make sure I say the address right, because I always mess it up. It's 6718 Meany Avenue in Bakersfield, right off of Fruitvale and Meany. So that's second Thursday, 3:00. We're always there. If you want to come and learn more about our apprenticeship readiness program, our MC3 program, or if you're just interested in exploring the trades and having a conversation with somebody. That informational session is usually led by our lead program coordinator, David Hudgens. But like I said, come and explore what's open as a career path for you.
Yeah.
Because it's out there.
Yeah. Excellent. So if you're interested in the trades, if you're interested in transitioning out of where you are into something that, again, as Alissa eloquently pointed out, provides, family sustaining wages and good work opportunities locally and abroad, then check them out. Look into our MC3 program. And again, Alyssa, thank you so much for this. I hope we're able to help connect a lot of people with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you. And that's the close of our Job Talk.